What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Collins. We are back again with another video, guys. In this tutorial, I'm actually going to show you how to create this effect. Awesome. If I'm going to be honest, all these assets that I did use are all paid. This is not free. Okay, so everything that you see right here plus some of the plugins are paid, and there is nothing that is completely free in this specific tutorial. So the only thing that's probably free is going to be the sound effects, which I will definitely include. I'll leave the link to the sound effects down below, and also the the project file, or in other words, the video that I recorded of myself doing this and stuff. So those are the only two things that I'll be leaving. Aside from that, everything else you will have to actually go out your way to buy them, if that makes sense, in order for you to get the best results. Go outside and record yourself pretending that you have fire in your hand. Okay, so you can just go outside and do this. It's a very simple thing. Set the camera on the tripod, do that, and I think that's pretty much it. Then we're gonna jump into Adobe After Effects, and we're going to import our footage plus the sound effects and the VFX files as well in here. Like I said, I got these fire assets from Big Films. Okay, so I got these fire assets from Big Films. If you guys come over here to the Big Films page, I'll leave the link to the fire assets down below. You can purchase these fire assets. It's really, really great. They have a subscription. I highly recommend paying for it. You're going to get the best results. Okay, so this is exactly what we're going to be working with. This is the footage, and this is exactly what we're going to be working with. So let's go ahead and let's get the process started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on this specific footage. We're going to go ahead and right click this space, go to new, and we're going to go ahead and click on create null object. Okay, so once you've done that, this is going to be a tracking data. It should say null 1, but again, since I'm teaching you guys this tutorial, that's the reason why mine says null 3, but yours should say null 1. What I want you to do is click on the footage one more time and come all the way over here into this area, right? Go ahead and click on this specific arrow, click on tracker, and go ahead and click on track motion. Okay, do that. Perfect. Now once you do that, if you don't see the tracking area over here on this right side, just go to window, scroll all the way down till you see tracker, and then it should be right here. Now once you do that, come back in here and increase the size of these boxes. First click on it and then increase the size of the boxes itself. Click in this area and drag it and pinpoint this at the tip of my thumb. Okay, then we're gonna come back over here and we're basically gonna move about 1 frame just to make sure it's tracking properly. You can go ahead and zoom in, right, by zooming in if you're using a mouse or a desktop, or hit Control plus on your keyboard or Command plus on your keyboard to zoom in. And then let's go ahead and click on analyze forward, and then it should slowly track my thumb perfectly. Yes. All right, that's perfectly tracked. All right, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna click on edit target, and we're gonna make sure this layer is selected to null 1. Press OK, and then press apply, and then press OK. Perfect. Now what we have done is we have essentially tracked our thumb, right? So you can clearly see the null is moving along with our thumb. So everything which we're going to do, we're going to be placing it, we're going to be parenting it to this specific null layer. So go ahead and turn that off. Let's move on to the next step. What I want you to do is go ahead and save your project. All right, so save your project, save it as fire tutorial or whatever it is. Just press Control S or Command S on your keyboard to save. Do that. Once you've done that, what we're going to do next is we're actually going to go ahead and click on the footage itself. Now remember, my footage is a bit bright. Okay, so it's outside is a little bit bright, so we're going to reduce the brightness of this specific thing. All right, reduce the brightness of this footage itself. It's all going to come into play. Go ahead and type in on the effects and presets tab, search up brightness and contrast. All right, drag that and put that right on top of the footage, and go ahead and reduce the brightness a bit, maybe to like -59. Excellent. That's good. We're looking good, right? Perfect. So here's what we're going to do next. What I want you to do is go ahead and come down here in this area, right click this space, click on new, and click on adjustment layer. What I want you to do is go ahead and right click it one more time and press rename. I want you to go ahead and rename this adjustment layer to palm glow. All right, so what's going to happen is we're going to add some type of glow animation to our palm. Okay, let's do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on the pen tool and we're going to draw a rough mask around the highlighted areas of my hand. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It just needs to be good enough. All right. Once you do that, press M on your keyboard to reveal the mask properties. Go ahead and let's probably change the color to something that's a bit brighter, like white. That way you can see it a little bit better. And what we're going to do is we're going to come all the way over here to, you see where it says parent and link? If you don't see parent and link, you should see parent and link. Click and drag parent and link into this specific null layer. And what I want you to do is come back into the effects and presets tab and search up curves. Click on curves and drag curves into this specific palm glow. Go ahead and increase the brightness a bit. All right, so increase the RGB, come all the way over here to red, increase the red a bit, and then come all the way over here to blue and then decrease the blue a bit. So we can get that extra glowy, you know, orangey type of look. Click on the palm itself, press F on the keyboard and feather this out. All right, so feather this out to something like this. 73 is pretty good. Now come back into the effects and presets tab and then search up glow. Click and drag glow. I do have optical glow. Optical glow is really good. If you have it by Red Giant, you can go ahead and use that. But if you don't, just click on the regular glow. This is for my people that don't have the paid visual effects assets and the paid visual effects plugins. Just drag that into this palm glow. And we're going to change a few of the settings a little bit. We're going to change the, I believe it's the original colors. Click on the original colors and change it to A and B colors. And come all the way over here to the A and B colors and click on the first color, color A, and maybe change this to like a bright orange. And come all the way over here to color B and change this to like a bright red. And then do me a favor and play around with the threshold. Let's see how it looks like. Maybe increase the radius to like 46. The intensity, you can leave it at 3.9, and then leave the threshold at 68.6. And then if you move this time indicator a few frames forward, you should see this extra glow that resonates in our subject's palm. Do this. Click on the palm glow itself and press T on the keyboard. Set a stopwatch on the opacity right at the very beginning, and then move this all the way to the very end, and then go ahead and decrease this to 0. Press play. So it should start off like your palm starts to get bright over time. All right. Excellent. Hit Control S to save your current progress. Now here's what we're going to do. Let's add some fire. I use these 3 elements, and these elements are really, really good. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come all the way over here into this side, and I'm going to search up fire element because I've already imported the elements already on my computer. All right, so I've already imported the elements already on my computer. So for example, fire element 3, this is exactly how it looks like. Fire element 2, this is exactly how it looks like. So let's first start off with fire element 2 because it looks really nice. Click and drag that into your footage. Then what I want you to do is go ahead and zoom out. Click on the fire element itself, maybe change the color to a bright orange. Press S on the keyboard and reduce the scale. Now move this time indicator a few frames forward, and you will start to see that the fire itself starts to, starts to glow up or whatever it is. So what I want you to do is come all the way over here to the part where the fire is absolutely visible. Click on the parent link and drag that into the null, and then move this right on top of our subject's hand. Click on the anchor point tool at the top. Click and move this all the way at the base of our fire. Click on the selection tool, press S on the keyboard, and then you can reduce the scale just a tad. So now if you press play, this is how we should be looking. Not bad, huh? Good. We're looking good. Let's add a bit more and we're almost done, guys. Trust me, this is actually a really quick tutorial. Hit Control D to duplicate fire element 2. And then come all the way over here, or Command D to duplicate it. Come all over here and click on fire element 3. Hold Alt or Option if you're using a Mac on your keyboard. Make sure you click and hold it, and then drag this into this top layer. Now once you dragged it in there, you should see that the null and everything is now in sync. So all you have to do is click on this specific layer and then reposition it right here. Press play. See, what we're doing is we're adding a sense of volume to the fire itself. So it's like the fire is not necessarily just coming out, from just one area, but it's kind of like spreading out a little bit. So adding different fire layers to your video itself, or adding different fire layers to your subject itself, makes everything look really nice. All right. So once you've done that, right, what you can do is you can come all the way over here. Let's take a look at one of these other extra fire layers. Like, for example, we have this one. This one is really not that bad. Again, you can actually add more if you want to. You can add more different layers to it as much as you want. As far as for me, I think I'm satisfied with just these two. I'm gonna hit Control S to save the current progress so far. And now here's what we're gonna do next. What we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and we're gonna add some embers. So again, when fire comes out, fire always has some type of embers. And so luckily, the Big Films Fire Pack also has embers inside of their pack itself. So they have a lot of fire embers you can actually download. Once you join their little subscription and stuff like that, you should be able to have access to this stuff. And they have a bunch of different embers. A bunch. And I mean, when I say a bunch. And I highly recommend utilizing these assets. So for example, they have this one right here. This one is really clean. They have this one. Let's use this one. Let's use Fire Embers number 2. We're going to drag Fire Embers number 2 into this layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click fit to 100. And we're going to offset this a bit to the right. We're going to move this time indicator a few frames forward to the part where you start to see the fire embers. I want you to go ahead and click on this anchor point tool, drag this anchor point tool right here. And what I want you to do is go ahead and solo this layer out. Click on the selection tool, click on the fire embers tool one more time, press R on the keyboard for rotation, and rotate this about, 65 degrees to the right, so that the embers appears to, float upwards, if that makes sense. And then go ahead and unsolo it, and then position that somewhere over here. Press S on the keyboard, reduce the scale, move this time indicator a few frames forward, and just reposition it somewhere around here. And what I want you to do is go ahead and select the parent link and position that, or parent it to the null. And if you press play, it's pretty clean. What you can even do is click on the fire embers and position it below the fire itself, and then position the embers a bit upwards. Because the goal is you don't want it to appear as if it's coming down here. The base of the embers is not coming down here. It's actually coming from the fire itself. So it's not bad. It looks pretty clean. And hit Control S to save. Awesome. So now here's what we're going to do next. What we're going to do is we're going to add some distortion. So if you guys don't have the heat distortion plugin already, I highly recommend buying it. It's $25. I mean, $24.95, but $25 basically with taxes, and all that stuff. What I want you to do is go ahead and select all of these other layers. Turn it off. For the distortion layer, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on the palm glow itself, and we're going to duplicate it. Hit Control D to duplicate it. Right click it, rename this to distortion. Right? And here's what we're going to do. We're going to click on it, press M on the keyboard, delete the mask itself. Come back into the effects and controls and delete the curves and the glow. Press T on the keyboard, and for the opacity, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and move this keyframe 2 frames to the left. And what I want you to do is go ahead and click on the rectangle tool and click on the eclipse tool, and then draw sort of like an oval shape eclipse over our subject's hand, something like this. Click on the selection tool, press F on the keyboard, and feather this out to like 266. Come all the way over here to the effects and presets tab and search up heat distortion. Click on the distortion and then drag that in there. Like I said, I highly recommend downloading heat distortion. Now, if you press play, you will notice that before we turn on the fire, we have some distortion flowing. The reason why I want you to buy the heat distortion plugin is because it's easy. You don't have to do all this extra hojo mojo to just get distortion on your footage. You can easily get distortion simply right? You can easily get distortion simply by downloading the Heat Distortion plugin from Video Copilot and placing that in here, and that's just it. All right. Now, once you've done that, right, what I want you to do next is I want you to go ahead and turn on the fire layer and all that other extra stuff. And now, let's say if I change my quality from full to third, and if I press play, you will start to see some distortion taking place in the background. Now, if you want the distortion to be a bit more visible, you can go ahead and double click M on the keyboard and then increase the mask expansion to maybe like 6. And let's say if you want the distortion to be a bit faster, you can change the settings over here. Maybe I want the noise speed to be like 2. Maybe I want the distortion amount to be like 15, something like this. That way we have a bit more distortion. All right. So you can do that. You can do that. Let me go ahead and change the mask expansion settings to something like this. So feel free to play around with this to get the best look that you're looking for. Again, the whole idea is you want the best look. So let's do this. We're going to click on the distortion layer one more time. Let's add a glow to our layer. We're going to go ahead and hit the distortion. We're going to hit Control D. We're going to right click that distortion and we're going to change this to glow. Rename this to glow. Click on the glow, delete the heat distortion layer from it. And let's come back over here and actually click on the palm glow itself. Click on the curves and we're going to hit Control C to copy that. We're going to click on the glow itself, move this time indicator somewhere around here and hit Control V to paste. So now we have this extra glow that flows from our hand. What I want you to do is go ahead and press F on the keyboard and feather this out just a bit more. So it looks something like this. And actually for the glow layer, press T on the keyboard and have this glow start a few frames, something like this. There we go. Now feel free to change how it looks. Hit Control S to save. You see that? Perfect, perfect, perfect. This is looking really good, guys. Really looking good, really looking good. Yeah. I mean, from the looks of it, we can say we're done, honestly. You don't even need to do too much. If you guys don't have the Chromatic Aberration plugin, just download it. It's free, man. It's actually free. Just go online, download it. Actually, the link is in the description, so just go ahead and download it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a Chromatic Aberration. So come over here to the Effects and Presets tab and search up a quick Chromatic Aberration. I'm just going to drag that in here. And I'm just going to change the, increase the position to like maybe like 6.5. Something like this. So we have a bit of some nice chromatic aberration flowing around our subject. With everything being said and done, guys, like I said, this is pretty much what I did. It's nothing too crazy, right? In a later tutorial or in my upcoming fire course, I'm actually going to show you how to add some fire glow to your eye. So this is just a basic reflection that I did right here, whereas our subject was, you know, opening his eye. You can see some extra glow of fire in his eye. You know, I'm going to show you guys how to add that. It's a really simple trick, but that would be in another tutorial because I have to rush, guys. That's the reason why I'm making this tutorial really quick and really fast. So what we're going to do is let's add some sound effects. Okay, so I've already provided the links to the sound effect. You should have already downloaded. Just import it and drag that in here. So I'm just going to basically copy and paste everything, all these sound effects. I'm going to paste it in here. So we're going to add some sound effects. Let's do that. Give me a second. Let's do this. Like I said, you don't have to worry about this. So this is just me doing me. Perfect. What you can even do is for the glow layer, let's say if you didn't want to add the chromatic aberration to this layer, that's fine. Just turn it off for now. Click on the glow layer, maybe increase the radius a bit. Something like this. Let's press play. That's more like it. Let's turn on the chromatic aberration. This is perfect. You can add some glow to the fire itself. You can. I mean, I've seen other people do it, but I wouldn't highly recommend doing it because the fire itself, it's pretty clean. I mean, you don't need to do too much to the fire. Unless you're an expert and you want to play around with the fire colors, you can just search up some, you know, curves and some other stuff and place that on top of these two layers. And that's just how you do it.